Welcome to the Reckless Podcast with Aaron and Damo. We are two old friends who went to middle school and high school together. We were roommates in college, and so we've decided to add our voices to the conversation with the Reckless Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We have two guests with us today.
Kenny and Jason.
Also, fellow
from Inside Out,
fellow BSU alumni.
BSU.
And Suitland.
Suitland.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good old PG County.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Where'd you stay? Where were y'all roommates?
Holmes Hall. first.
Holmes.
Holmes.
Yeah.
I was RA in Holmes.
Really?
Were you?
Yes, I was. Again, this was after you guys were definitely after me, but I was
Holmes
I
and
was
then
in Holmes
Haley.
for 1 year, and then I went to Bowie Place.
Yeah, because they make everybody go homes for
freshmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and Haley Hall was, we had probably had the most fun there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Haley
It was definitely a lot of fun.
Good.
But, so, make America great again.
Making it great. Are we making it great? Can we make it great?
Is it not great?
You can make it great.
I can make it great.
You can
Me?
make it great.
Little old me.
So who you don't know, Make America Great Again is the campaign slogan for one Mr. Donald Trump, who's the presumptive Republican nominee
Presumptive.
for president.
Very
And,
presumptive.
But still not getting all the votes.
right. Amazingly, right?
Yeah.
So his campaign slogan, which is amazing to me, I have heard him say it, but I didn't realize that's like what's driving his whole campaign is Make America Great Again. So what does that mean to you? What is making America great again?
I mean, it's not great.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So you
what
don't,
I want
you
to
don't
know,
think it's great already.
I want to know specifically what is not great about America that he's talking
Oh,
about.
I know.
Okay.
I know exactly what. Slavery is abolished. That's what it is. That's what people don't want to say. They
Put 'em
mad.
back in chains.
That's what we want to go back, throw them back in chains.
Shackles off my
Shackles back
Oh
on
my
you.
feet.
Segregate
On their
America. Where that's the type of where we got white fountains, black fountains. I think
So
that's
my
what we
question
want.
is slavery, this new form of slavery that they're trying to bring back, is it limited to black people?
No, it's immigrants. It's anybody who's not non-whites.
Okay.
That's what I think that really comes down to. White America feels like their rights or their place is being infringed upon by non-whites.
Right. By free black people.
Right.
It seems like a lot of the pressure, some of the pressure is off of us black people now, and it's more on Hispanics and
Because they're willing to
Mexicans.
work.
Yeah.
Because they want. I mean, I was very blessed when I looked out my window because I just moved into a new neighborhood and we weren't sure whether or not the HOA covered them actually cleaning. Cutting our lawn. I was like,
Right.
man, I gotta give me a little push more because I only got about as much lawn as this table.
Right.
So I was just like, but I'm walking my dog back home and I'm just like, oh my goodness,
It's
they're
already done.
out here. Jose is out here doing his thing. I'm like, yes, thank you. Praise be to Jah. But there are a lot of areas where they're willing to take,
Right.
they're willing to work hard, and it's like, nah, we want to make more money. We just need to get more business, not that you need to pay me more.
And see, and that's what irritates me behind this whole attack of Hispanics is that they pretty much do a lot of things that other people aren't willing to do here, and which makes America great in a sense, and allows for us to have the opportunities that we have. But yet now we're trying to send people back to where they supposedly came from, where they did come from. I just don't see like how that is the right course of action. Like,
It's all about protecting the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And my place in the system.
And the 1% place in the system.
Right.
And I mean, like I heard a guy talking about like, when you look at the middle class, they try to make the problems of the U.S. look like it's the minorities' fault. So if the middle class is angry at the minorities, the 1% get away with everything,
Right.
Because it's the black people, it's the Hispanics, the gangs and the drugs, and I mean, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories about who put the drugs in the communities.
come on now.
That's
about
that's
it.
several other podcasts.
I mean, because
Several.
I actually took a class about with urban economics. I don't know if you did one of
I
you.
think I did. Oh, no.
With
I
Dr.
took one.
Conrad, and they talked about how there's a certain level of crime that the economy is willing to take on in order to make sure that things flow appropriately. As far as just
because we need jobs for law enforcement.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
Need, we need you know, some kind of destruction to happen because
So
we
there's
need
a quota. There's a
right.
quota of crime.
Yeah,
that
so
would,
they'll
that,
allow certain parts
Yeah.
of criminal activity, but it's
We
it's
need
all
to
a
fill these
game.
prisons.
I mean,
That's
Yeah.
what we need to
that-
do.
I mean,
That's big business.
it's
Oh,
huge business. I
huge
mean,
business.
Which
big
I
business.
never growing up, I never realized it was like a privately owned type,
Oh, yeah.
business. Like I thought it was a government facility. Like these prisons were government owned.
They've been private for quite a while now. It's
Yeah.
absurd.
yeah, so making a lot of money. I mean, employing hundreds, sometimes thousands of people on a regular basis. But I mean, it's just what they
See
what
now,
they
in
do.
that sense, I can get where Donald Trump is coming from.
Is
Making America
that
great.
really where he's coming from?
But that's my point.
That's the
yeah.
thing we don't know.
Yeah, that's my point. That's not
We
the
can
angle.
assume.
That's not the
Right.
angle
Right.
he's taking.
Based on the color of his skin,
Because
but-
even when you said like for Hispanics to come to the country and actually go from and sometimes you'll hear them, they'll talk about the conditions that they came from. They're like, yo, that joint was terrible. But to come here and be able
terrible.
all I got to
Where
do
Charles
is I can give me a push mower. I can get me a rake. I can just take a job. Oh, I can make work at McDonald's wherever, and I can do this. And you're not going to. There's no limit to what I can do. I can become a manager.
Right.
I can become a business owner.
Right.
Anything.
Owner, right.
And they take advantage of these opportunities. And in a sense, that's the type of thing that makes America great. Where it's just like the idea for hundreds of years, immigrants have come here because it's like they once thought, Europeans once thought that the streets were actually paved with gold because of the opportunity.
The way they talked about it.
right? The way they
Right.
talked about it, man. All we gotta do is get to America. Like, we get to America and the possibilities are endless. You can do anything because of the
Anything.
whole capitalistic thing where it's like you just come in, you got an idea, you can pursue a business if you want it. Go for it. Be the
Yeah,
best.
I mean, even when you manifest destiny, Westward Expansion,
Yeah.
let's go out. I mean, mind you, we're killing Native Americans and taking their
no.
land.
Trail
but
of Trail of
the
Tears,
dream
no,
is,
no need.
the dream is real. Just come to America.
Just come get land. I mean, there was you put your flag in the land. You're getting 100 acres in the Midwest. All you gotta do is stay there for 5 years, but you can do like these type of opportunities that have been there, to where it's just like what are you? It goes into locating what Trump is talking about. Like, so when has America not been great for you? Was America not great when you filed bankruptcy to them several times? Like, was that
A gazillion times.
right? Was that
Or
when it
when your
wasn't
dad
great?
gave you $1 million
Right,
to start up?
Was it not great
privilege.
when you're on your second or third marriage? I mean, what are we talking about?
Right.
Okay, so just
But it's interesting. I went to a graduation for my sister-in-law, right? And the CEO of Under Armour spoke, and great guy. I really like him. He's doing a lot for the community, but he described his, bottom as staying in the basement of his grandmother's house in Georgetown to start up. And
Wow.
His
Hold
grandmother's
on.
basement
In
is
Georgetown.
worth more.
In Georgetown.
Is worth more than the house I live in Southeast.
Exactly. And so and so that's my point. I
Wow.
mean, there's a different, kind of reality when it comes to that kind of stuff. And, you starting from there is not starting from poor, and
Right.
and they certain people think that, that's where the bottom is, and that's the rich, and it's not. I think it transcends skin color at times.
Right.
Where you talk about rich, because there was
more about class.
It's more about class, and there was a guy who recently did a video. Maybe it wasn't recently, but I recently saw a video. I think you might have told me about it, where he was talking about way back in the day and kind of getting into conspiracy, where the rich would say,
Must
He
be
don't,
true.
he don't like the rich.
Right.
He don't
Nah.
like the rich.
it was talking about in regards to the rich, how the rich made the poor turn against the black people, and was saying, trying to put the poor against the black, when really they were trying to hold down the poor as well, but they had to make them seem like there was somebody
You're
below
doing
them.
better than the
Yeah.
black people.
right, misdirection. They're taking your
Right.
jobs, they're taking your opportunity. Look, that's why it's those type of things where from the rich, from the the upper class, the wealthy,
Right.
Where there will be the misdirection where it's like you're coming after the workers for them wanting more wages, but you're not going after the CEOs for making record profits
Exactly.
Every year.
billions of dollars. Because again, it's that balance where those millions of dollars that drives the economy. When it's like, and it makes it look good because you have these businesses that are making this profit. and so it looks good on paper.
So is that the type of thing, that misdirection? Is that the reason for why Donald Trump has these supporters?
Yes, and that's what I was getting to.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's important to note that that mentality is kind of what is driving it, like you said. But if I see somebody who I was trained to think is lower than me,
Right.
now kind of on the rise and now seems kind of equal to
right.
me when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, or whoever, I don't like that.
Right.
And that's because the initial seed that was planted by the rich to say, hey, you may be poor, but you're not as bad off as they are.
Right.
And I think that's what people are thriving after when it comes to
Yeah,
make
that's why
America
he
great
has
again.
this groundswell of supporters who are with him no matter what he says.
Mm-hmm.
As dumb as it is sometimes, like he has no clue what he's going to say before he says it. Like, he just goes out there and just talks. Like
I don't
I've
think
never
he has
seen
a teleprompter.
Yeah,
he
I
can't
don't
have a
think so.
teleprompter.
No, his teleprompter is the crowd who yell out all these crazy things.
and he's be like, "Oh, you want to talk about that right now?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's- yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do that."
I've never seen a politician that is never prepped. But I guess that he's not a politician.
Right.
I'm waiting for someone to throw him a beer, so he'll be like Stone
Like
Cold.
Stone Cold.
Yeah, like, I'm just waiting for that.
It's coming.
anything
Right.
goes.
It's coming.
Anything goes.
But I think that point about opportunity, where it's just like, understanding that people's opportunities that they have is different. A black person's opportunity in America starts off at a different level than a white middle class. And even when we're talking about middle class, like middle class white, middle class black is a different opportunity level. And that when you begin to see somebody like us doing better, it's just like, oh, why you hold on, you just bought
Boy,
a house
what
and
you
a
doing
car,
here, boy?
Right.
and you out of debt. Like, how do you do that? It's just
America
like,
isn't great anymore.
right, because this colored people they're doing well for themselves. They own they own several businesses and on all those other things. Oh, well, you own something different than a dry cleaner or a carryout?
Right.
That can't be right. You're only supposed to clean my house and clean my clothes and serve me food.
What's the ultimate example of equivalence? Barack Obama. I mean, once there had never been anybody outside of a white guy as a president, and now that I see the highest position in America
Threatened.
now has a black man or a person of color,
Right.
whether it be Hispanic, black, whatever, somebody other than what we are used to.
It's possible.
Now, wait, what happened?
And that's where I feel it really is.
Yeah.
We need to make America great again because and then the whole thing with the immigration, like, I mean, if you look at Hispanics, and this is just, yes, they have their gangs and stuff, but what do a lot of them do? They all move into the same house. They all work, and so now, it looks like, oh, they're just all together. But let's look posterity. Let's look 50 years from now. What is that? That's businesses. That's real estate. Because what are they doing? They're putting their money together so that the future generations, black people, pay attention, so can do
real.
something. And I feel like the 1% sees that. And then, they're looking ahead. They're like, all right, so we need to stop this now.
Yeah, break this up.
Right.
We need to break this up.
I
Tower
know.
Babel.
I have a friend of mine. He knows another Asian guy, and he was talking about how they're in their culture. How it works is you send one person over here. They begin to work. They collect money to send over to to send another kid. Let's say there are 5 kids. So you have the first brother come over, start to work, amass money, maybe like $10,000, $20,000, saves it up, brings the other person over, and literally they give them the money once they start a business, they give them the money to start another business. And so then they both work together to have a startup money for the other. So by the time you get down to, it might take them like a year or two in the beginning, but it exponentially decreases because now you have like 3 people working to bring over 2 people.
Right.
And so then they just start having businesses, and that's just something that's a plan.
Business
that
incubator.
Exactly. They say, no, this is what we're going to do, and there's a plan for it. And that is, it goes into the threat for, okay, so we know the Asians are doing it and Hispanics are doing it. Even people from India are beginning to do that type of thing when you have multiple people, multiple families in the house, and it's just like, okay, yeah, we're going to live in this large house, and everybody kind of got their own little room with their family, but we're working towards something greater.
Yeah.
So when you consider Mr. Trump and all that he showed us, is he qualified to lead? Hillary Clinton came out and said that he's not qualified to be president. But when you look at the Constitution and the constitutional requirements, he kind of meets that. You just have to
35.
35,
Born in
and
the U.S.
natural born citizen.
Natural born. I mean, he's and that
So that's it
Right.
for being president. When you're talking about qualified to lead, that's a different story.
and lead who?
Yeah, we
Right.
know he has the whole business thing.
Yeah.
down. We understand
Well,
that.
does he have it down?
Allegedly.
Because he's already talking about making America go bankrupt. That's how we need to fix it. Just make them lose all the money and start all
He's
Because they-
probably
Which
an
is
expert on
but
bankruptcy.
if you
Right.
study money, it's a strategy to it. So it's not just him being. I mean, I think it's stupid, but there is some type of strategy with it, which I don't think the country
Ask 50
should
Cent. No.
do. Yeah.
I still
but,
flash my cash.
I mean, when I think of a leader of the country, you need to be well versed. So, I mean, you typically think of your other presidents, some type of military or political. They were a governor somewhere. They were they have experience.
right. There's like a track that they
Yeah.
follow that gets
Except
them.
Trump.
Yeah, no. And then that's one of the, he comes out of the pack just being a business person. And previously, you do have the military experience, you do have the political experience. Previously, the only one who didn't have any of that type of experience was Woodrow Wilson. He was a history professor at Princeton, and that he came out of the pack during a time when you're just like, hey, I found my way, and it was a little bit different as
Right.
far as politics was concerned. But now it does bring into the question: do you need to know about foreign? You need to know about foreign policy, economic policy, creating jobs. Because as the president, you have to initiate these things to be like, hey, this is my plan. This is what we
Right.
want to do. So you got to be an initiator for all these global
difficult
things.
job.
It is.
Yeah.
When you look at the president,
wouldn't
when
want
they
it.
start
No,
and
me
when they
neither.
end, the facial I mean, that you get
The countenance
it ages
is
you.
different.
I mean, you look at Barack, how he looked when he first
Every-
came in.
and that's
now.
every
40
president.
years.
Barack may be one of the most polished presidents I've ever seen or even heard about.
Oh, yeah.
Or read about as far as how he carries himself and the understanding of foreign policy and understanding of how things work. And I attribute a lot of that to his education and how he arrived at being a president.
Almost as if he was groomed for it.
Yeah.
Exactly, which
Right.
I think is necessary. And going into, whether people actually value, politicians, these people are groomed for this because they have an understanding of these things. And when Donald Trump says comments like, oh, well, we just need to print more money. That concerns me. Like, what do you
Are
mean
you
just print more money?
stupid?
Yeah, so now you're going to flood the marketplace with the dollar, and now we're going to lose value on the dollar, and then that's ultimately going to hurt us.
Yeah.
And he just says stuff, and no one is holding him accountable to these kind of things. And people were saying, well, we need a different person who's not a politician, but there's value in people who are politicians
There are.
who go to school and study these policies and study the legislation and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting, man.
And have legislated before.
I mean,
Exactly.
'cause that's-
Never led. He's never been an executive
Right.
or anything, or except his company. But like government executive wise, no type of nothing.
I guarantee you, if he were to, have a position open for an accountant, and somebody says, "Hey, well, I do a budget at my house, for me and my wife and my 3 kids."
And let's get away from accounting people. They've ruined your company, so hire me because I have nothing to do with accounting.
Exactly.
That's stupid.
He's not going to do that.
That's dumb.
He's not going to do that because he knows that his business will fail because of that.
Right.
It's a challenging job, especially when you think about even bringing one piece of legislator. There's so many different parts that go to it, and the compromise. And I think that's one of the things that Americans are very tired of is the inability for Washington to compromise. You think about a year or so ago when the government shut down for 2 weeks.
Which was a pretty good vacation for me.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed myself.
But
I don't
it's like-
tell nobody.
But it's like I know some contractors were just like, I had to use up all my leave and I ran out so I wasn't. There was a lot of things, but you put people's job on the line because you couldn't agree.
There's no regard for it.
Exactly. It's like, so you're still getting paid, but I'm not getting paid. I have to pay my bills. I have things happening. But that I think is where people see it as there's nothing happening, even with the whole Supreme Court nomination. So y'all aren't. So Barack nominates a good candidate.
Who is the current president?
Yeah,
And has
then-
every right to do
and
it.
and
he
they're
was
like, no.
elected president. Ain't like he just kind
No,
of.
we're gonna let the
Yeah.
people
Walk
choose.
in.
He
We're
ain't
gonna
Frank
let-
Underwood. And shot some people and all that stuff to get
We're
there.
gonna let the people choose. And I'm like, the people chose Barack, so he has every right to do this, and y'all should at
Absolutely.
least vote, at least see it vote. And it's almost like we don't want to do that because we don't want to give him the satisfaction of saying that, oh well, you got another one in, but you're now putting this undue pressure, unnecessary pressure on the Supreme Court, where a lot of decisions are now going to split because you don't have that swing vote.
Absolutely. So when you think about the the statement "Make America Great Again," there's an implication that America is not great. So when was America great? Is it ever? Can it be great?
Good question.
I mean, when you go back, we think America's great. We think about it because of our military power, the economy, everything that goes on here. But for him to say it's not great, for him to imply that it's not great, it just makes me think, okay, all right, are you for the people? Mm-hmm. Or are you for something else? Mm-hmm. And that's what I just, like, even all that we're talking about, I'm just like, Bible talks about when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. Everything goes great. And I just feel like it's not about the people anymore. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, we can go down the street and we can see that it's not about the people. Right. And that's what I want. I want a politician, and I know it's hard because you got all these corporations and the corruption, all that stuff. But I want, and my prayer is that it really genuinely be about the people.
Yeah.
And that includes some type of compromise.
Yeah,
because we're dealing with different people.
Yeah, because when you think about people, you have to put yourself before them. I mean, before you have to put them before yourself.
Servant leadership? What?
Yeah, leadership. You got to be a servant. You got to be, you got to. Right. And I think, that's something that, a lot of leaders, I mean, I hate to make this blanket statement, but we see it all the time, especially with politicians. They don't seem to have much regard for the people. And especially when you come to these areas of compromise where you say, going back to your example, which was a perfect example, I'm not going to compromise with you and concede to what my beliefs are just to make sure that these people have jobs to take care of their family and put food on the table for these 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
When you serve people, your beliefs need to almost be filtered through making sure that the people have the advantage.
Right.
I might believe a particular thing, but what is going to give them the advantage? What is going to keep
the greater good?
Exact. I have to think about the greater good, and that's why even some Christians, when they start attacking Barack, like he's not really a Christian president, it's like, hold on a second. Mm-hmm. He's not only leading Christians, he's leading Muslims, he's leading Buddhists, he's leading all these people. Mm-hmm. So I can't just make a decision that's only going to benefit you. Mm-hmm. I have to think about the people as a whole, and some of that will look a little bit different in these particular situations. But I have to put what's the good of the people, regardless of what I might believe. But if what I believe will bring the good of the people out, then great, we can do that. But if not, it's like I have to lay that down for a second.
And it goes back to respect. And
put some
respect on it. There's just a lack of respect for other people's opinions and other people's right to have those opinions.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's evident, the way Donald Trump attacks everyone who is differing from him. Like, he goes at their neck for the kill.
And that's one of the things that makes America great is because you come here, you have religious freedom, so you can believe what you want to believe. Mm-hmm. If you want to start a business, you can start a business from the ground up and make as much money as you want to. You can live where you want to. You can worship where you want to. Free speech. You can protest. You can be a participant in government.
You can start a podcast.
Right, exactly.
Hashtag the Reckless Podcast.
Inside out.
And there's some places where you can't do any of this.
Right.
We couldn't even be sitting on this set right now talking about this because in certain areas. So I'm just like, the freedoms that were allowed is what makes America great, because we can come in and do whatever we want to do within the law. We're not hurting anybody, but we can do that and go as far as we want to, make as much money.
And we can eat bananas seductively.
Or can you?
Check out last episode and talk about that.
So I think that because of the opportunity, the potential that you have when you're in America, I think that's what really makes it great.
Yeah,
just potential.
People are the greatest asset, and if we could tap into servant leadership in the government, yes, the 1% will lose some of that money up front because they wouldn't be able to hoard it all. But just the growth and the innovation that would come if we actually believed in the people, man. Just think about how America started.
That's the people, right? Really?
Yes.
They're the greatest commodity?
Yes.
Nah, it's got this land.
It got to be the money. It's not the money.
I mean, to them it is.
Let them tell them.
Right. If I don't have my money, I'm losing money. I can't do that.
Right.
So much more will come.
A little bit of a side topic. So I was doing some research and found out that there's a mayor in the Philippines who decided that he put out this law, or not necessarily, it's not a law yet, but pretty much a bounty to all the cops saying that if you kill a criminal, then you'll get $1,000. But if you wound a criminal, you'll get $160 each for
Maybe-
each.
So the goal isn't to arrest anymore.
Maybe the cops
No.
in Ferguson heard that and thought it was.
Too soon.
It seems like that's kind of something that's been happening under the cover in America.
You
Like,
get it.
It's just
Your review you get a better review
You know,
or
that's a-
something like.
it's crazy.
It's
That
good.
could be a valid point.
But it
man.
goes into what type of
Man.
legal system exists in the Philippines, because here, yes, our legal system is very, very tricky to
Right.
navigate. However, it is that way so that if you want to convict somebody, it's without a shadow of a doubt that this person is going to be convicted.
Right.
Right.
That's supposedly what it's supposed to do. But I mean, in the Philippines, I think it's dangerous when you do that, because you're now saying, nope, you don't get your due process.
Right.
Yes, you're a criminal and you're beyond rehabilitation.
and the public official said this
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
this is
And-
condoned.
And
And
then
I'm not-
violence only begets more violence.
Absolutely.
Right,
So-
and I'm not sure what their actual mantra is, but we all know here, the police are supposed to serve and protect.
Yeah.
And so I mean,
Innocent until proven guilty.
exactly. So
Unless you're black.
it's very
Now
interesting
that
to me.
becomes a reason why, I want to kill criminals. That's why I'm become a law enforcement.
I had some professors in undergrad who said that to serve and protect has never been the mantra for the police department.
Really?
That's just a hashtag or a tagline that we put on them
popular.
later. But the purpose of the police is to enforce the laws.
right.
And so, it's not about, protecting anyone or serving anyone. It's about what the law says. And if you're not following what the law says, then you're in error and I have to take action. And police are supposed to have a monopoly on force. So if you're doing something wrong, I have the opportunity under the law to forcefully make you do the right thing.
Make you comply.
Right.
Which is dangerous.
It is.
It's very dangerous.
It's
because
scary.
Whenever we see any of the video, choose a video, it just you get into this power struggle where it's like now you're seen as less than. It's this whole, and I understand it's a dangerous job because you don't know what's going to happen. Split decisions have to be made because
Right.
you want to get home to your family.
Absolutely.
So you don't know if the car has a gun or everything like that. But there's just so many different instances where I'm just like, this person the tail light was out, but now you want to have them, you want to search them, you want to throw them on the ground, you want to beat them up because they said, I'm afraid, and they express to you, I'm afraid that if I get out of the car that I'm not going to live. Now you need to get out of this car, and you yank me out of the car? Like, it's crazy how that even gets to that point where you're so empowered with that force, or you believe that this is going to turn out well.
Yeah. So
For me, at least.
Right,
Who cares what
right,
happens to
right.
you? But I'm going
It's
home.
about the system.
yeah.
It's not about the people. It's
No.
about protecting the way of life. for
Right.
a
So
select few.
this is-
Established order.
This is actually a good point to make a plug for one of our upcoming episodes where we'll have some cops on.
Hey.
Some police officers actually talking about what it means to be a cop, how do they go about being a cop, and what they look for when they do make stops. And also talk about just being pro Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that you're anti-cop.
Yes.
and
Come on,
it-
duality. Talk about that.
Exactly. So we want to go about that and actually get some good feedback from him and talk about that. So
Let's make America great again.
Let's
Please.
Make
do it.
America.
Let's try.
So this is the Reckless Podcast. Thank you, Jason and Kenny,
Hey,
Thank you.
our pleasure.
hosts of the Inside Out.
Inside Out Podcast. Check us out.
Check them out. Check them out. And one thing we want to do is make America great again. So make sure you subscribe, comment, like, do whatever you need to do. Share the video, and we appreciate your time.
And vote.
And vote, yeah.
Please.
And run for office.
Run for office, local,
Ex-
anywhere.
Think
Get in
big,
there.
yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Board of Education, everywhere.